On February 28th, 2025, at exactly 12 noon Pacific time, thousands of $700 devices died at the same moment. Not broken, not recalled, switched off more remotely by the company that made them. The people who built this device weren't amateurs. They were the designers behind the iPhone itself. They raised $240 million to kill the smartphone. Instead, they built the fastest collapsing hardware product in modern tech history. This is the story of the Humane AI Pin and the billion-dollar lesson buried inside it. Imagine you spent $700 on a gadget, then $24 a month, every month, just to keep it working. And then one morning you get an email. In 10 days, your device stops functioning. Permanently. No calls, no messages, no AI. The only thing that still works, the battery indicator. That actually happened to every single AI pin owner. And here's the part that stings. If you bought it more than 90 days earlier, you got nothing back. Not a partial refund, not a coupon, nothing. You paid $700 for what the internet immediately started calling the world's most expensive fridge magnet. If you've ever been tempted by a shiny new product with a world-changing pitch, this story is your vaccine. Everything in this video comes from primary sources, reported deal figures, the founder's own TED Talk, Humane's official shutdown notice, and reporting from The Verge, TechCrunch, and Fortune. No speculation, just the paper trail, and the paper trail is brutal. Here's a bold claim. On paper, no startup ever had a better pedigree. Imran Chaudhri spent over 2 decades at Apple. His name is on the patents for the iPhone's interface, the swipes, the gestures you use 1,000 times a day. His co-founder and wife, Bethany Bongiorno, was Apple's software engineering director. She ran the iOS and macOS project management. When they founded Humane in 2018, Silicon Valley didn't ask, "Will this work?" It asked, "How much can I invest?" Sam Altman, Microsoft's. Salesforce CEO Marc Benioff, Qualcomm. The total roughly $240 million at an $850 million valuation before a single product had shipped. In April 2023, Chaudhri walked onto the TED stage and showed a device that projected a phone call onto the palm of his hand. The clip went viral. The takeaway here, investors weren't betting on a product. They were betting on a resume. Remember that, because a resume can't overheat, but hardware can. April 2024, the AI pin ships. Price, $699, plus that mandatory $24 a month subscription. Within 2 weeks, the reviews landed like artillery. Wired gave it a 4 out of 10. The Verge said it just doesn't work. And then came Marques Brownlee, 19 million subscribers, with a video titled, "The Worst Product I've Ever Reviewed, for Now." The problems weren't nitpicks. Ask it a question, and you'd wait 10, sometimes 15 seconds for an answer your phone gives you instantly. The laser projector was nearly invisible in daylight. The device ran so hot it would warn you to let it cool down. At launch, this $700 AI assistant couldn't even set an alarm. And the battery? A couple of hours on a good day. Here's your takeaway. A product that demands new habits has to be 10 times better than the old one. This was 10 times worse. And the market responded with something far worse than anger. It responded with returns. This is a statistic I have never seen with any other consumer product. By the summer of 2024, internal sales data leaked to The Verge showed that more AI pins were being returned than purchased. Read that again. Every day, the number of devices in customers' hands went down. Roughly 10,000 units had been sold, a fraction of the 100,000 Humane projected for year one. And by August, only about 7,000 were still in use. Then it got worse. In June, Humane told customers to stop using the charging case, a fire risk, a $700 device you couldn't safely charge. Meanwhile, the company was burning investor cash and quietly shopping itself around at a price of $750 million to $1 billion. The lesson, when your customers pay $700 and then pay again with their time to send it back, no valuation survives contact with that reality. February 18th, 2025. The buyer finally arrived, HP. The price, $116 million. Not for the AI pin. HP explicitly didn't want it. They bought the software platform, over 300 patents, and most of the engineers. The founders who set out to kill the iPhone now work at HP, building AI features for printers and laptops. Do the math with me. 240 million raised, an $850 million valuation, a $1 billion asking price, sold for 116. That's 13 cents recovered for every dollar of hype at the peak. And the customers? 10 days notice. On February 28th at noon, the servers went dark, every device was bricked, and all customer data was permanently deleted. The takeaway: when a product depends entirely on a company's servers, you don't own it. You're renting it from a landlord who can go bankrupt. So was the idea stupid? Here's the uncomfortable part. No. The vision, ambient AI you talk to, without a screen, is the exact direction the entire industry went. OpenAI later paid billions to team up with Johnny Ive, another legendary Apple designer, to build an AI device. The difference? Timing and honesty. Humane shipped a prototype at a flagship price and let marketing write checks the hardware couldn't cash. Right idea, wrong execution, brutal price. That combination doesn't just kill products, it kills companies. And it turns early adopters into the ones who quietly fund the experiment. Remember those thousands of devices dying at noon? Every single one is still out there, a $700 monument to the gap between a demo and a product. So here's your action item. Before you buy any device that needs a subscription and a server to function, ask one question. What happens to this if the company disappears? If the answer is Paperweight, you're not a customer. You're an investor with no equity. If you want to know how the same playbook, legendary founders, viral demo, catastrophic hardware, played out with billions more on the line, watch this next video. The numbers there are even crazier.